I'm going to be talking NXT 2.0 viewership numbers, as well as some wrestling news, because I don't have a whole lot to say about NXT there. I don't get the quarter-hour breakdowns for this. They were about 569,000 people watching on average. It's comparative with Rampage ratings-wise. And to me, it feels like NXT is forgotten, though I know it's just a change of focus for the WWE. And that kind of got me thinking, how does this forgotten program compete with both AEW's program that they're trying to put over major on TV, Dynamite, and Rampage, which is like AEW's B show? And it's debatable whether Rampage is a forgotten show, because Dynamite does better than NXT, but NXT does touch like the bottom of the viewership and overall viewership. So it comes close, and it definitely competes with Rampage. Now, one thing I've noticed about these demographic numbers is I look at total viewership. If you look at the 18 to 49 demographic, which you always hear they're concerned with, the numbers get much closer. And the higher you go up in those demographics, the closer the numbers are. Raw and SmackDown are still obvious. SmackDown's still number one. Raw is number two, which is surprising to say in this day and age. And Dynamite is like a distant third. NXT is closer to that as a fourth. Rampage fifth, and then below that, nothing compares. So WWE is still the Titan in this, and that's kind of a little depressing thing to see from the ratings when you consider what the quality of show is to most fans. Now, getting into a little news coming off AEW last night, it feels like almost every AEW show has a lot of news coming out of it. Dax versus Cash in an Owen Hart Cup qualifier, which I thought was huge. Adam Cole versus Tomohiro Ishii in an Owen Hart Cup qualifier. And AEW and New Japan are presenting the Forbidden Door pay-per-view in Chicago, June 26th. It's going to be big. We get to see Danielson and Punk possibly mix it up with New Japan guys, and maybe this opens like a further relationship there. And the last bit of news that I had that I thought was pretty big, GCW's lawsuit with IWTV is finally settled, and it is going to produce something called the Settlement Series, 8 events that GCW is going to put out on IWTV over the next year, and nothing's announced for that yet. The news just broke on this, and when I had heard there were trouble between the two companies, I was kind of bummed about it, because I've been a fan of GCW for a while now, and I've subscribed to IWTV, I'd say, over the last year. I've used it on and off to watch Beyond events. You can keep up with Standalone Wrestling, the company that's doing the show at Pistol Pete's on May 21st in Norwich. They're on IWTV. There's so much independent content on there. Companies you heard of, companies you haven't heard of, but all quality wrestling. So I would go check it out and continue checking out GCW. They got 2 events this weekend that we will most likely be covering on at least one of these daily contents. And thank you for joining us for this discussion today. Sorry it wasn't as long as most, but NXT just hasn't been a priority to WWE for a while, so it hasn't been a priority to us.